For me, psychosis, I split it into two different sections, and you've kind of actually really explained it really well. Yes, it can come from genetics. It can come from, and I'll tell you in a minute what psychosis is, but it can come from genetics, but it can also come from external factors. Now, when people ask me, am I psychotic? I ask them, what is your definition of psychosis, right?
Precisely, yeah.
And they always say, well, it's when you go crazy. It's when you lose the plot, isn't it? It's when you have a breakdown. That person is psychotic. And I literally have to sit there and hold it in because I find it so upsetting when somebody says that. That is not psychosis. Psychosis is a mental state that unfortunately a lot of people go through. Now, it can be defined as genetics. It might be that, you know, somebody in your family or your genetic disposition, but it might also be from something that has happened to you. It can come from trauma. It can certainly come from, you know, recreational drugs. It can come from external factors, so things like influences around you. It could be that you are absolutely fine for 30 years, you wake up the next morning and you have a psychotic episode, we call it, right? So that might look like confusion, unable to speak, doing something completely out of the blue that you wouldn't usually do. So it might even be you start dressing differently, you forget how to brush your hair, for example. It might be that you don't remember your own name in that moment. It might be, I mean, there's hundreds of different examples, but the best way of describing it, it's a frame around you, an internal frame as well, that you can't justify why this behavior has happened.